Honkai Star Rail has officially released version 2.2. We are doing two drinks, one based on Robin and one based on Boothill. A perfect idea in my book. Inarguably the most embarrassing moment of my life. Bourbon. Oh. Ooh. Oh. I might be too stupid. Oh. I am. And now, we smoke. I love him. But I digress. And if I can stop one heart from breaking, it'll be with this. Welcome back. Honkai Star Rail has officially released version 2.2, and naturally, with it, they've added some interesting new characters. So I figured I'd do what I do best, and try to make drinks for some of them. So today we are doing two drinks, one based on Robin and one based on Boothill. Why only two instead of the typical four? Well, quite simply, I put a poll up here on YouTube asking if people wanted to keep the schedule and format the same, or if they wanted shorter videos that I could hopefully put out more frequently. And the response was pretty overwhelmingly for shorter and more often. And hey, it's fine by me. Means I don't have to drink as much in one night. And if you didn't see that poll but want to have a say in the future of the channel, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so that you get updated whenever I post something like that. Also, taller tripod, so my head shouldn't stick off the top of the screen anymore. That's nice. And of course, always drink responsibly, drink lots of water. I kind of got nothing else for this intro. We said the videos would be shorter, so let's actually try to keep it that way. Alright, up first is Robin. There are actually a few reasons I wanted to do Robin. One, she's in 2.2, and I got her, and I just wanted to remind you of that fact. Two, much like Aventurine, Robin actually has an official recipe by Hoyofair for a cocktail. But stick with me, because unlike the Aventurine, we're actually going to switch up the recipe a little bit to something that I think works a little better. But we'll get there in a second, because I want to address point number 3. The main reason I wanted to do Robin was as a thank you to Alice Himura, who showed up in chat during one of my streams and led to, inarguably, the most embarrassing moment of my life. If you want to know what that looks like, become a member and you can go watch that VOD. So if you're watching, thank you, Alice. I'm very grateful for you stopping by and enjoying those first two videos. I hope you enjoyed this one too. Okay, now we can actually address the drink, because I actually have quite a few thoughts on this. The official drink for Robin is called the His Cosmopolitan. Hey, I'm recording this in editing. No it's not. It's called the Iris Cosmopolitan after the Iris family, which makes a lot more sense. But this entire segment is reliant on me having misread this one font. And really, can you blame me? So anyways, just ignore the fact that I have it wrong and everything else is reliant on that. Already that feels ironic because it's for Robin, but I digress. So as we discussed in the Metropolitan Realm in our first Star Rail video, a Cosmopolitan consists of vodka, preferably citron vodka, but let's be honest, most restaurants you're gonna go to, they're just gonna give you plain vodka, Cointreau, lime juice, and cranberry cocktail. I feel like that's more colloquially referred to as cranberry juice. People say cranberry juice and they're typically talking about cranberry cocktail by Ocean Spray. Now Hoyofair's His Cosmopolitan replaces that lime juice with Yuzu juice. Now here's where I got confused. It says cranberry juice, not cranberry cocktail, but even typical cranberry juice is gonna be pretty dark. And like I said, a lot of people kind of refer to this as cranberry juice in general. So I have no clue how they got that color. As bright as the Yuzu juice is, this brought it down to Cosmo Pink, no problem. When I looked around in the store, maybe they used like pink cranberry juice. But also, I didn't really want to spend the money on another big bottle of cranberry juice that I'm probably not gonna drink. So I decided to just stick with the classic cranberry cocktail and live my life confused as to how they achieved that color. The second problem I had was, again, using their specs of a full ounce of cranberry cocktail and 3/4 of an ounce of Cointreau, the Yuzu juice just ate up the flavor. Like not getting pink cranberry juice. Again, this could be a me problem. This Yuzu juice I got might be too sweetened, and if you use fresh Yuzu, it might taste better. But if it goes to show my odds of finding fresh Yuzu around here, I live in a pretty sizable city, and I still had to order this off of Amazon. So maybe if you use fresh yuzu juice and have the right cranberry cocktail, obviously it'll look the right color and taste as good as they want it to. But for the average American seeing cranberry juice and going, oh, cosmopolitan cranberry cocktail, duh. And where the hell do I find yuzu around here? I had to do something different. Like I said, the yuzu juice was so overpoweringly citrusy sweet and distinctive. So I finished my first His Cosmopolitan and I got to thinking, the yuzu juice is too strong. And even if I got the right color cranberry juice, the fact that cranberry cocktail can't bring that flavor down means I highly doubt I would be able to do it with any other flavor of cranberry juice. The Cointreau is Cointreau. That part didn't really need to change. It was just kind of assisting everything anyway. So it came down to cutting the vodka. As most of you know, vodka's not a very flavorful spirit. That's kind of the point. It's meant to just kind of live on in whatever you're drinking and make it stronger without affecting the flavor too much. So we need a stronger flavor for the base spirit. With that citrus being so shallow, I wanted something with a heavy kind of base note depth. And if you know me, you already know where this is going. Bourbon. Specifically, I opted for Angel's Envy. Similar to why I used it for the other songbird, Nerissa Ravencroft, in my Hollow Live Advent video. Angel's Envy is such a fitting name. The wing motif on the back matches perfectly. But aside from aesthetics, this is my personal go-to sipping bourbon. I think it's got a nice, rich flavor. It's finished in sherry casks, which gives it this nice kind of wine-esque finish that goes very well with the rest of these ingredients. It was just kind of a no-brainer to go with this one. So for the first time in a while, I'm gonna say, while you can use any bourbon you want, this is the one I'm saying is official for this recipe. Speaking of the recipe, let's get down to business. First off, ice in the shaker. I'm gonna try and finish this bottle first. We're gonna do 1.5 ounces. I'm just gonna, maybe a little more if you like Angel's Envy the way I do. And from here on out, we are gonna stay faithful to Hoyo Fair's recipe. So 3/4 ounce of Cointreau, 1 full ounce of cranberry cocktail. I said faithful, but again, we are using cranberry cocktail instead of cranberry juice, whatever they meant by that. I can't remember if it says 10 milliliters or 15. I think it does say 15, which is 1/2 ounce of the yuzu juice. And now we shake. Grab our chilled martini glass and strain in. Now you could do what they do and garnish it with yuzu, but we've already established I can't, so we're gonna have to go without it. And before I show the recipe on the screen, we do have to address one last point. The name is Cosmopolitan. I get it. A Cosmopolitan is typically referred to as a lady's drink. But at the same time, I think the idea of gendering drinks is kind of ridiculous. If a guy wants a Cosmopolitan, let him have a fruity Cosmopolitan. If a woman wants to drink bourbon neat, let her do it. And that's why, for Robin, I'm referring to my take on the His Cosmopolitan as her Cosmopolitan. And if I can stop one heart from breaking, it'll be with this. Whoa. Wow. That is crazy. The yuzu is still very present. Like I said, it's kind of hard to avoid that. But if you try it both ways, you'll know what I mean. The bourbon over the vodka gives the drink the body that it needs for the yuzu to not be overpowering the rest of the drink. It's so interesting how different that is from a Cosmopolitan. Unlike a typical Cosmopolitan, the cranberry juice is taking a back seat to the rest of the drink. It becomes a background dancer to the yuzu. The yuzu is front and center. It is the star of the show. Like I said, that cranberry cocktail and the Cointreau become the background dancers, but the bourbon is what is setting the stage now. The yuzu slides up really high in the palate, almost in an acidic kind of way. It doesn't burn like acid, but it sits up there the way you would expect. But you can feel the support as it goes through the rest of your palate from everything else. Almost lemony in a way. It is very clearly distinctively not lemon. If you haven't had yuzu, this is kind of orangey, but with the feeling of lemon. Having tried it both ways, I do really think this is the way to go. I wouldn't present it to you if I didn't. It is still a very sweet cocktail, do not get me wrong, but with the vodka, it was too much. The yuzu juice was too much, it was too overpowering. It was good, it was fine, but I felt like it needed something to give it that extra oomph to really push it into being great. And I think the Angel's Envy did that. Oh, there's like a little winky face. Check it out right there. The little face winking at me. Hey, the drink agrees with me. What can I say? If you don't like Cosmopolitans, you won't like this. I'll be honest with you. But at the same time, that's not a disparaging comment. If you don't like an old fashioned, you're probably not gonna like the old fashions I make. If you don't like margaritas, you're probably not gonna like the margaritas I make. This is a very fun take on a Cosmo, but it's still a Cosmo. So if you're a bourbon aficionado who doesn't like super sweet drinks, don't go into this thinking, the bourbon's gonna save it for me. No, this is still very much a Cosmopolitan. If you are a Cosmopolitan enjoyer thinking that you're gonna be turned off by the bourbon, don't. This is still very much a Cosmopolitan. The bourbon is not really there. You're not getting the oakiness or the burn or what have you from the bourbon. You're just getting the body. You're just getting the roundness. And when you taste it, you will understand why you needed that as opposed to vodka. This yuzu juice is bordering on like lemon juice and lime juice, where it's good in something, but too much of this flavor is a lot. And so when you have this overpowering the rest and vodka doing nothing outside of giving that shallow feeling, I keep saying it, but it becomes too much in my opinion. And if I'm sounding negative, I don't mean to. I think this drink is great. I think this is as fascinating a take on the Cosmopolitan as the Risky Sour was to a whiskey sour, which is a drink I very much love. Maybe it's because I'm not a huge Cosmopolitan drinker that this threw me off as much as it did, but at the same time, I feel like if I gave anybody his Cosmopolitan that I made that night, they would probably agree with me. The yuzu was just too much. And again, that might be my fault and the yuzu juice that I bought that did that. But this brings it all into a round, complete drink that is putting the yuzu very much on display and making it stand out, but without turning the yuzu into a one-man show. This is an idol. It is pleasant, it is sweet, it is lovely. This is her Cosmopolitan. This is Robin's drink. But you know, it is kind of making me a little peckish. So why don't we take a word from this video's sponsor. This video is sponsored by Tokyo Treat and Sakura Co. Two unique snack boxes hoping to help you experience Japan from the comfort of your own home. Tokyo Treat is a monthly pop snack box that will bring you up to 20 exclusive limited edition and seasonal flavored Japanese snacks that are available in Japan for only a limited time. And yes, that does include drinks and instant ramen. This month's theme is Tokyo Snackcation. Tokyo Treat invites you to journey through Japan's exciting and colorful capital city, Tokyo, which I think they know pretty well, because if the name didn't give it away, it's also their hometown. This month's box is packed with delicious sweet and savory snacks inspired by the famous city. Ooh, Pokemon. Okay. I'm not sure what this is, but there's a squirrel on it, and that's good enough for me. Cheese egg. I love him. Some melon cream soda. And the drink, guys. Let's taste this. That's actually really good. That's so light and pleasant. I wish I could have this all the time, actually. That alone was worth getting this box. Shoyu ramen. That's gonna be a good dinner. Oh, there's a massive bag of chips in here. Oh. Oh, ooh, oh, that's really tasty. I believe these are the ume chips. Those are really good. I feel like I gotta try cheese egg, just for the guy. Oh my gosh, look at this thing. That did not taste at all like what I thought it was going to. Oh, that's cheesy. I'm happy. I'm very happy with this. Not to mention this cool booklet that tells you all about Tokyo and all the snacks that you get, including allergen information, which is pretty important if you don't read Japanese. So I actually think that's incredible. I'm gonna keep drinking that soda. It's a really good soda. Meanwhile, Sakura Co. is a monthly Japanese artisan snack box that supports local Japanese snack makers. Each box comes with 20 traditional, authentic, and artisan Japanese snacks, including Japanese teas and a special Japanese tableware. In contrast to this month's Tokyo Treat, Sakura Co. is inviting you to celebrate Tokyo's rich history with their theme, Traditions of Tokyo. Tokyo isn't just a modern metropolis. It has a rich history that stretches back centuries. That's why this month's Sakurako invites you to step back in time to Tokyo's Edo period and immerse yourself in the timeless charm of traditional Tokyo by savoring authentic flavors from the city. Well, that's the tea. Ooh, little Belgian waffle. Whoa! Whoa, what is this? Alright, they've immediately piqued my interest on this one. All of those are so cute. I might be too stupid to get this out. Oh, we once again got another incredible booklet telling you about all the snacks, but also the history of Tokyo and how some of these snacks were made. I saw chocolate, and you don't have to tell me twice to eat chocolate, okay? Mmm. Oh, that's so good. It's rich. The chocolate's almost coffee-like. That is delicious. Oh, okay, so this is the Mizu Waribe Mochi. I opened it and I saw it and I immediately needed to know what this was. Oh! Are there instructions? Hold on. I might be too stupid. It looks like I'm supposed to do something like this. Alright, what do you think? Is my presentation as good as theirs? Mmm. That's really tasty. Mizu means water, so this Waribe Mochi is just letting the molasses and the soy flavors live on through it with each other and making it become so much more refreshing than you would expect from those two kinds of flavors. Alright, let's see what this kuromame tea is about. It's got a nice kind of sesame nose to it. It's a lot more savory than sweet. That is really nice. Plus, apparently it's caffeine free, so this is a guilt-free pleasure right here. I mean, both drinks in this, slam dunks. And I do genuinely love the fact that Sakurako helps support local artisans. So if you too want to enjoy Tokyo from the comfort of your own home, or even give one as a gift, make sure to check out my link in the description below. But if you scroll too far, don't worry. They're also in the pinned comment. And don't forget to use my code SEKAI at checkout to get $5 off of your first purchase. And thank you again to Tokyo Treat and Sakurako for sponsoring this video. Welcome back. Now most of you probably know me first and foremost as a Midwesterner. But truth be told, I've spent a fair amount of time in what we would call the South. So when I see a crazy robot cowboy added to the game, you can bet your bottom dollar he's getting himself a drink. Thankfully for Boothill, I didn't have to think that hard on what his drink was gonna be. Ever since I found it, one of my go-to drinks has been a little cocktail called the Mexican Firing Squad. Now, I've wanted to do something with this drink for a long time because I really enjoy it, I think it's really tasty, and a lot of the people I've tried to talk to about it had no clue that it existed. So I got to thinking, where can I use this? And unfortunately, I just couldn't come up with a good thematic reason to use it until Boothill. A drink for a notorious cowboy outlaw that's a take on the Mexican Firing Squad? Now that feels like a pretty apt idea. So I got to thinking, how are we going to change this to make it something unique? And I'll be honest with you, I don't know which came first, the name or the idea for how I wanted it to taste. But what I do know is that they both cascaded into each other for a perfect idea in my book. First off, we've got to change something to make it Mexican Firing Squad adjacent, because it's still a take on that. Thankfully, tequila has a cousin, and his name is Mezcal. Similar to tequila, Mezcal is an agave-based liquor that's only allowed to be made in certain parts of Mexico. However, Mezcal has a notoriously very smoky flavor, and so Gunsmoke was born. First, we're gonna add some ice. Now, a Mexican Firing Squad is, all in all, not that complicated of a cocktail, and thus neither is Gunsmoke. We're gonna do something a little fancy at the end, but that's optional in my opinion. But first, we're gonna start with 2 ounces of our Mezcal. If you're like me and don't actually know a ton about Mezcal, this Del Mague Vida, I hope I'm saying that right. I took 5 years of French and forgot all of them. So this one's way outside of my area of expertise. But nonetheless, a quick bit of research and speaking with some bartender friends said that this was pretty much the go-to for cocktail making, and having made a cocktail with it, I'm inclined to agree. I don't have much to compare it to, but this one is good, and it's not too expensive. And I think it's relatively easy to find. Next, the Mexican Firing Squad is a surprisingly sweet drink with 3/4 of an ounce of Grenadine. Give it that nice blood red color for the execution vibe. And what's a good cocktail with tequila or mezcal without some lime juice? 3/4 of an ounce of lime juice. And finally, this is actually the bit that got me interested to try it to begin with. Angostura Bitters. And none of that old-fashioned 2 dashes. No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 or 5, it's up to you. I like bitters, so I went with 5. I missed. And then we shake. Strain it into your rocks glass and garnish with a lime wedge. And there you have Gunsmoke, aka the Boothill, more or less. We'll add a finishing touch here in just 1 second, but for those of you who don't want to bother with what we're going to do, I want you to know what it tastes like now. Woo! Oh, that is smoky, smoky flavor. It's like you're sitting next to the kitchen in a barbecue restaurant. Just all of it is hitting you, but you're enjoying some sweet barbecue, a sweet drink, something. All that smoky, briskety flavor is just hitting you like a truck. It's a shot through the chest. Wow. That is so good. If you are or know someone who loves smoky, smoky things, smoky barbecue, sitting next to a campfire, Mezcal in hand, that is gonna blow them away. It has all the ease of a sweeter drink. The lime juice and the grenadine are just making it a smooth sip, but the flavor is overwhelmingly that smoke. It really is kind of like a sweet barbecue sauce. Extra smoky. Do I want to squeeze this in yet? I have another one for the shot. Let's figure out what this is like. Oh, that really capped it off nicely. The smokiness is still very, very loud, but it's no longer overbearing. The lime juice on top is now giving it this cover so that the mezcal isn't just exploding everywhere in your mouth. You can feel the lime juice kind of holding it back, just barely holding on. That is such a cool drink. That tastes so good. If you don't like smoky flavors, make a Mexican firing squad. It's this exact recipe. You're just going to use tequila instead of mezcal. I love that drink. I don't think you could go wrong with making that as your Boothill. It works just as well. I just wanted to do something a little different than a recipe that already existed. Now, I mentioned that final touch. Do you really think we were going to do a drink called the Gunsmoke without smoking it? Come on. Here's the interesting part. When I was looking at the wood chips that are in here, I was trying to figure out what I thought would pair well with this. And I think it's a bit of a surprise. What I ended up going with was cinnamon. You can often get some cinnamon-esque flavors out of bitters. So with the amount of bitters that are in here, I just kind of figured this would make for a good pairing. And sure enough, I was right. And now, we smoke. Ho, 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 ho. And now, the real Gunsmoke. Oh yeah, that's a drink right there. This room smells so good. Whole new different level of smoke going on in here. What I find fascinating about smoking it with the cinnamon, and the reason I said that you don't have to do this, is because I find that the smoky flavor actually is tamed a lot by smoking the drink, ironically. The smoky flavor calms down and instead gives way to that smoky feeling. No longer are you in the barbecue pit, you're sitting next to a campfire eating barbecue, but still, it is no longer overwhelming. So if you don't love smoky flavors, smoking the drink might actually help. I can take much bigger sips of that now. Not that maybe I should, but hey, if that goes to show you how it's upped the ease of drinkability, there you go. Before, it's so much more of a sipper. That smoky flavor punches you in the mouth every time you try and take a sip. But with this, you get the citrus more, you get that sweet feeling a bit more, and the smokiness becomes the lead guitarist instead of the headliner. I'm gonna squeeze this lime in it again. Yep, still good. Didn't change anything. So there you go. That's the Boothill. That's the Gunsmoke. A blood red sipper for an outlaw on the run. And with that, we draw this video to a close. Thank you again so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoy the shorter format. If you like it, please let me know. I would be happy to continue to do about 2 drinks per video and try and get them out weekly. I make no promises. I said try, but only doing 2 drinks does make it a lot easier to do that. Or maybe all of you who voted for this are regretting it massively and want me to go back to 40-minute videos every 2 or 3 weeks. All I know is I really enjoyed both drinks in this video, and I really enjoyed making them. So please let me know who you would want to see next, or if you want to see characters from other games, or maybe you want to see VTubers again, or I've got ideas for anime and some other stuff that I don't want to spoil, but I have at least 3 video ideas for. And if I do this weekly format, it shouldn't be too much of a burden to do that. So, and most importantly, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, do all the YouTube things, share this video with every person you've ever met. I'm sure they'll get something out of it, even if it's just confusion as to why you sent it to them. And hey, that means you changed someone's day. For better or for worse, but you did change it. And thank you once again to this video's sponsors, Tokyo Treat and Sakura Co. Check the links in the description, use my code SEKAI at checkout, it'll really help out the channel. And that's it. Okay, fine, I'll say the line. My friends, indulge yourselves. Bye!